Hello, my name is Ruwandi Perrera, and I'm a PhD student attached to GSPL. The poster that I'm presenting today is on my research study, Unlearning for Learning Facilitators, where I'm exploring how part-time higher education lecturers in Sri Lanka practice unlearning in the development of their professional identities. My research study is focused on the concept of unlearning, and I'm looking at this from the perspective of higher education lecturers in Sri Lanka who have to unlearn in at least two areas. Number one, there is a need for these lecturers to unlearn what it really means to be a teacher. This stems from the fact that the local education sector is very teacher-centric. Teachers, lecturers are still seen as disseminators of knowledge rather than learning facilitators. Also, when it comes to higher education, the vast majority of lecturers come from the industry. They have full-time industry-based careers, and it's only during the weekends or weekday evenings that they switch to their academic role. So there is unlearning while they switch to and from industry to academia. This rationale and backdrop leads us to my research question, which is how do part-time higher education lecturers in Sri Lanka practice unlearning in the development of their professional identity? Of course, the next part of my poster is a synopsis of the literature that I've read, because I've read literature saying that unlearning is important for learning facilitators. And I've also read literature that shows that when it comes to switching from industry-based identities to academic identities, there are a lot of challenges for lecturers. Now, if you see the Venn diagram on the left here, on the greens, in the green area, I've shown that lecturers do unlearn. And on the orange side, we see that there are so much of literature that shows that changing identities from industry to academic is difficult and challenging. However, something that the literature doesn't show is how unlearning happens. So unlearning does happen, and unlearning happens when people change identities, but how does it happen? So this is the contribution that I'm willing to make, that I'm hoping to make with an empirical study of how unlearning happens, of course, from the perspective of part-time higher education lecturers of Sri Lanka. The next phase of my study is my data collection, and I'm hoping to collect qualitative data from focus groups and depth interviews, where I'm going to be talking to higher education lecturers from both private and public universities in Sri Lanka. And of course, the anticipated impact of my research is to really help these lecturers develop professional identities without being hindered by any outdated perceptions and knowledge of what it means to be a teacher. Of course, this is also going to help higher education institutes facilitate unlearning of teachers. And I'm also hoping to see the potential for unlearning communities of practice among lecturers as a safe space for identity development. Thank you very much.